How's it going, everyone? My name's Justin. I'm with the Real Keeper Home team, and this is our channel, Everything Jax Real Estate. In this video, I'm gonna be going over the market update for the Jacksonville Beaches and the Jacksonville Southside area for August of 2023. We've been seeing a lot of changes in the market here in Jacksonville, specifically Beaches and Southside, so definitely you're gonna wanna stay tuned to hear about all those changes when I come back. All right, and we're back. So before we get started, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring that bell so you get notified when we post more content like this in the future. We're gonna first be looking for the Beach and Southside. We're gonna be looking at how many homes went pending in August. So as we can see here, we had 269 sales that went pending in August for the Jacksonville Beach and Jacksonville Southside area, which left about 450 listings still for sale. This actually gave us a 37.4% pen to list ratio, which is actually higher than the previous month. And what that really does tell us is that the current inventory is mildly active. So the higher the pending ratio is, what that means is either one of two things. Either one, we have less listings on the market, which is not the case in this situation. And so because of that, we have a lot of homes under contract in relation to those least amount of listings. Or two, we have more listings on the market, but we also have more pendings on the market, which means there's more buyers potentially coming back onto the market. It may surprise people with where the rates have been recently, but what we're seeing, especially at some of these lower price points, is that prices and rates are not affecting buyer demand. So as we take a closer look, you'll see here that the $400,000 to $600,000 price range had the relatively largest number of contracts that were pending. That's actually about the same as previous months, nothing too crazy there. Very common for this area for that price point. We also saw that homes in the $400,000 to $600,000 price point had the most homes for sale. Again, similar thing from previous months for this area. But what we did see too is the median list price is actually $620,000 for the area. That's higher than last month. So we are starting to see prices start to creep back up again, despite rates not changing, and despite the conception, the perceived conception that demand is decreasing. So as we look at this graph, we're going to see here that there aren't too many changes from previous months. Properties for sale still outpacing contracts pending. However, as we saw previously, that's not changing too much the pen to list ratio in a positive direction for buyers. It's still saying that the market is still very seller positive. Now, as we keep moving down, you're gonna see here a total of 1,301 contracts that closed the last 6 months. Of those contracts, the median sold price was $466,000. So when people start asking, okay, well, what's going on with the market here in the Jacksonville Beaches, Jacksonville Southside area? Are we seeing sellers willing to come down off their prices? What I can tell you is when you have a list price median of $620 and you have a sold price for the past 6 months of $466, it's telling you that the sellers are coming down off their prices some. That even though some sellers are listing higher, they are still selling for less because of rates and because maybe demand isn't as high as expected in some of these previous months. Now, alternatively, we also saw that there was a total of 234 homes that failed to sell. Now, this is an uptick from previous month, and again, it can happen for many different reasons, so I'm not going to highlight all of them, but overall, sometimes the sellers choose not to sell, sometimes an agent may not have listed it properly, sometimes the condition just didn't warrant the price. Those are just a couple of them. Now, as we move on down, we're going to look at median days on market. Now, what we're going to see here for median days on market is that the active listings median days on market was actually 41 days on the market. Now, how does that compare to sold properties? Well, for the past 6 months, sold properties only took 27 days on the market. And as mentioned previously, they had a median list price or sold price of $466,000. So we're seeing homes that are listed in the market take longer to go under contract in relation to homes that have already sold in the previous 6 months. Now, how does that compare to last month? So we look at last month's data. We're going to see here that last month, the median days on market was 23 days. The median days on market for last month was 23 days. So actually even less than the last 6 months. We also see here that the median list price for August was $475,000. That's higher than the last 6 months average. prices are still going up. Cannot stress that any more than I already have. Now, are they going up at the pace that they were the previous couple of years? No, because those were COVID years. This is not a COVID year anymore. We are no longer in COVID. Appreciation is still going to occur. Now, will we see certain neighborhoods, certain areas level off, become a little stagnant, maybe even come down some? We will. And there are certain areas here in Northeast Florida that's the case. However, for the Jacksonville Beaches and Jacksonville Southside area, we're not seeing that anymore. Right now, we are seeing appreciation come back up. Could it change? Of course it could change. If rates stay where they're at or go higher, prices may have to give out eventually. But for now, the data does support that we're going to see prices go up even as we go into a slower time of the year. Now, the median list to sales ratio for the area was 98.3%. That means for every $100,000 home, which again, that's an easy number to use, sellers are getting $98,300 worth of that $100,000 from a buyer. Now again, you can equate that out for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, $100,000 home, up to the millions, if you really want to get the calculation for that. But ultimately what that does, what that shows us is that ultimately sellers are coming down some off their list price, but buyers are starting to have to pay a little bit more than they were even just a couple months ago. So if you're a buyer and you were thinking about waiting, it might still be in your favor to wait. However, you may have waited too long because prices are starting to go up, sellers are starting to get closer to their list price, and inventory isn't necessarily going up as much as you would think. I'm gonna highlight that now. For the last month absorption rate, which measures how many months of inventory this area has. In previous videos, and you can go back and look at them, in previous videos, we saw the absorption rate be closer to 3 months of inventory, which is still seller heavy, but it's not, crazy seller heavy. Right now, we're seeing 2.1 months of inventory. 2.1 months. The lower you go, the more of a seller's market it is. 2.1 months is very positive if you're a seller. So if you're watching this video and you're a seller, again, that's the number you want to see. But if you're a buyer, just keep in mind what that means is you're gonna have some competition for the good homes. And I say good homes, that doesn't mean condition's good, price is good, location's good. What I say when I say good homes are homes that are in the area you want to be, they're in a price point that you can afford, and their condition is what you're looking for. You're gonna have more competition. That's why it's important to have a professional like myself to work with to make sure that when you do find that one, or when I find that one for you, you don't miss it. Because there is competition out there. The last thing you want to do is miss that home. So as we continue to move forward down, we're going to look at median sold price and median days on market as it looks at the previous couple months. So as you're going to see here with median sold price, and again, September is data that's not fully finished, so you don't need to worry too much about that last dot on these graphs. What you're going to see here for median sold price is you're going to see that in August, our median sold price still did stay pretty consistent with where we had been at previous months. So we're still higher than the past 6 months. We actually are a little bit lower compared to June and July, busiest months of the year, but we're not necessarily going down, more so as we're going up. And median days on market, well, our median days on market are also staying well below 25 days, which is still well below the 6-month average and also well below the homes that are obviously still listed. So the ones that are good, they're the ones that are still going at a very quick pace. Lastly, we're going to look down here at the table below. Now this table is going to really highlight the price points that are fairly popular, where they have less inventory, more buyer demand, homes that are going to be going pretty quick. And what you're going to see here is really until you start getting up to the $2.4 to $2.6 million price point, you're going to be dealing, again, there's an outlier here of $800 to $1 million priced homes. They have 4 months of inventory, which is great. If you're in that price point, it means you do have more options. I can tell you a good chunk of that's probably in Tamaya from what's currently listed out there. However, for most of these price points, you're looking at, again, 1.4 months, 1.9 months, 2.4 months, 2.2, even at $1 million to $1.2 million, you're at 2.2 months of inventory. Those are unbelievable numbers. Those are numbers we didn't see before COVID. Shoot, some of these numbers we didn't see during COVID. So it's important to know that if you're a buyer, there is demand out there. So if you have the luxury to wait, it might make sense to wait. But keep in mind, you may have waited too long, and if you decide you want to wait until rates come back down, guess what? There's a lot of other buyers deciding the same thing right now. So that's the video. Ultimately, don't mean to be negative with anything, but I like to always be straight to the point and honest with you guys. Ultimately, my goal is to help educate people who are thinking about relocating to Jacksonville, people who live currently here in Jacksonville, as well as far as what's going on in the market, what we're seeing with actives, pending, solds, price, days on market. All of those things are important things when it comes to making a decision on where you want to live and what kind of home you want to buy. So if you ever have any questions, my contact information is down below. Feel free to reach out to me. Hop on my calendar. I have a link to my Calendly on there. I would love to discuss with you for 30 to 45 minutes what I can do to help you with your home search here in Jacksonville, as well as even any surrounding areas like St. Johns County, Nassau County, Clay County. Ultimately, I want to be your expert, your boots on the ground here to be able to help educate you and help find the right home for you and your family when the time comes. So until next time, I'll see you guys on the next video.